to the Transformers.
It is no secret that Transformers obviously have designers, but I feel the toy designers are truly a part of a fandom that is not discussed enough. Okay, sure, modern examples, you've got Mark Lonis on all of his socials and whatnot. Mark Mayer, right? But, you know, even though he might be the most well-known toy designer on the Hasbro team at this point, not too long ago, there was news that Eric Siebenaler would come back to Transformers. He would rejoin the team, and I thought, you know what? Ever since that had happened, I had this really good idea to just sit down and talk about some of Eric's work. So this is the culmination of that idea. We're going to be looking at some of Eric's work, some of his tenure during the mid-2000s on the Hasbro team, and really what his return could mean for the franchise overall, you know, in terms of the toys specifically, because, you know, that's where the guy's effective. So, let's get cracking. Siebenaler's saga really begins with Transformers Armada, because he's known to have designed the initial Laserbeak toy, at least before tweaks and revisions were made, you know, prior to the product release. He also designed Armada, blah blah blah. I can't say anything at this point, okay? Armada Wheeljack and Overload, which are both two quite cool toys, to be completely honest. But I don't own any of those, so I can't really sit down and talk about those in hand. However, Transformers Energon is where things really kick into high gear with this guy, because he helped design Constructicon Maximus, which is a toy I have reviewed already, okay? Otherwise, Energon Devastator, Buildron, whatever the hell you want to call him. Buildron is the Japanese name. So that's what we're going to call him, but as a result of this, he did help design Bone Crusher, which is one of my favourite Transformers molds ever. So, without further ado, let's glaze Bone Crusher for maybe 30 seconds or so. Now, this is the only point in the video where I'm actually going to use old footage from my review, because Bone Crusher is something I reviewed, and I really don't want to retread too much old ground by, you know, re-recording everything. Bone Crusher is very cool, okay? Yellow and brown is a sick colour combo, and the robot made on this guy is absolutely exceptional. For a Scout class sized figure, it's just the creme de la creme. Just, he's it. Okay, he is him. Bone Crusher is my favourite Transformers mold ever. As cool as Bone Crusher is, he did help design even more from the Energon line. Now, one of the first things that comes to mind, and really just stands out, is the Superior set, okay? I have the Superlink version. It's not something I've actually got around to reviewing yet, but he designed it. It's cool. Like, incredibly cool, okay? Just a really cool set of planes. But we're actually going to glance over those, because even though I'm going to show you them on screen, I do want to talk about something even cooler. He helped design the Energon Insecticon. Now, the Energon Insecticon, with its muted kind of foresty colour scheme, you know, the dark brown and green with yellow highlights, it's very nice, you know, very aesthetically pleasing. And the simplicity of this toy really lends itself to only really having 3 colours. I'm not really going to talk about the silver highlights too much or any of the extra detailing in the bug mode, but it looks gorgeous. It plays the part. It's got a gun on its bloody head. That's very cool, I suppose. It kind of feels like a Digimon in a way. But yeah, you know, you could put the pew pew on there. You could put the horn on there. It's just pretty damn cool. And I forgot to show off something else. Whilst the Insecticon is a true statement on how simplicity can be equally as smart as it is simple, Rodimus exists. This is a really cool mold which I have a redeco of, so let's talk about it. And Checkpoint is really cool, okay? He's got a very basic transformation, very limited articulation, but he's one of the combat class Autobots that does the whole torso leg combining gimmick, you know, and he really cool. But lo and behold, he exists, and Checkpoint specifically is a very cool redeco of it. Very police inspired, but yeah, something sick. Now, as for the Mega Class, Command Class, Leader Class, and Supreme Class stuff, he helped design the Mega Class Ironhide, Mega Class Jetfire, Cliff Jumper, which is a very, very cool toy, which I would love to own. Then he kind of helped work on a Landmine and Bulkhead, which 2 very cool figures. They don't do the whole combining thing, but they have these like extra armor gimmicks and weapons, accessories and stuff. Very big beefy boys. As for the Leader Class stuff, he helped design Megatron and Galvatron, plus Optimus Prime. Galvatron is just a redeco of Megatron, so don't look too much into it. And then the giant half and half Omega Supreme toy is another really cool figure that he helped design. So yes, that's sick. Moving on to Cybertron, I'm only going to talk about Short Round, because I don't own a ton of, toys? Cybertron toys. But I do have this guy, and he's pretty bloody cool. He just turns into a boat. Now I've actually got the 07 redeco from the Scout class wave. However, it's the same old, right? He's not decked out in the like white, teal, and purple, but he is decked out in white and blue with kind of splashes of orange. He retains the Cyberkey gimmick as well, which I'm showing off. And yeah, I'm very much happy with it. So, how about we talk about classics? Because I've been there before, and I would love to just talk about him just a tiny bit more. So, anyway, he actually designed basically all of the classic stuff that I can really come to talk about. You know, Astro Train, Bumblebee, Rodimus, which I don't have sadly, Grimlock, which I don't have sadly, Mirage, Ramjet, Starscream, then for the Voyagers, you know, Jetfire, Megatron, Optimus Prime. He's not the sole Hasbro designer on most of those toys, but he did help design all of them, which is awesome. You know, there's always the Takara side of things to take into account, but Eric is the kind of topic of the video here, and you know, I feel it's very important to just kind of flick through some of those and kind of just show off generally that this guy's body of work is great. Every figure he has ever put his hands to is good. Like, generally, I don't have a bad experience with a toy he helped design. Moving on to Transformers 2007. Yeah, man, why am I going yeah, man? Look, he helped design some really cool stuff. He helped design Barricade, Bone Crusher, Brawl. Big praise for all of those toys. Long Arm is another toy he helped design. And really, Long Arm is a toy I would love to get around to reviewing, because it truly is something really cool. It's a nice stocky build, turns into a unique vehicle mode, and is definitely something to behold. In terms of a old 2007 Deluxe, you know, it's very fun. As for Voyagers from Transformers 2007, he designed, or helped design, basically all of them. That's it. There's nothing else to it. I gotta show off Blackout and Ironhide. Now, to be completely honest, Blackout is not the best figure in the world, but I sure as hell have a hell of a lot of nostalgia for him, given the fact he's one of the very first Transformers I remember having as a child. And even after reacquiring him thanks to my partner a few years ago, she kind of got me him as like a present, and he holds up. He's generally really fun for a Voyager, as immobile as he is. Ironhide, by comparison, is also pretty damn cool. I'm not going to transform him because we will review him soon for you. But that's as far as I'm going to go. I don't actually own Megatron, Prime, Ratchet, or Starscream. I used to have a redeco of the Ratchet mold, but he helped design the original one, not the redecos. Hey ho, you know, Blackout and Ironhide are good toys, regardless. Then for the leader class stuff, he helped design Megatron and Prime. I used to own Optimus Prime many years ago when I was growing up, and that was a really cool toy. Megatron, however, don't own it. Never have, probably never will, because I don't like it that much. If I want a 2007 Megatron, I'll just get the Studio Series. But hey ho. Yeah, let's not ramble. Animated. He helped design everything you see on screen right now. And we're going to talk about a couple of these, because I do think just the whole animated line as a whole is pretty goddamn good. Prowl is really the first point of contention. You know, both Prowl and Samurai Prowl. He helped design them, and they are fucking fantastic, okay? Soundwave is another brilliant figure that I do own that he kind of worked on from this line. And that's just the deluxes, okay? I would glaze Lockdown a bit, but I actually want to review him after this video goes out. Now, Soundwave comes with Laserbeak, which might just be one of the best kind of accessory things of all time. You know, it's a bird that turns into a guitar. Now the wings do unclip, unfortunately, due to how the clips are designed, but Soundwave is beautiful nonetheless, and so is Laserbeak. Voyager class figures that he helped design, all of them. Okay, just every bloody crevice within this animated toy line that he could get his fingers into, he did. Blitzwing, Bulkhead, Lugnut, the Optimus Prime, which I don't have. I actually kept the Deluxe because I dig the Deluxe kind of more, or I just like him being smaller. Anyway, all of these are really good toys. He also helped design Cybertron Megatron, which is a toy I also have and I'm showing off here. Beautiful guy. I've got the Takara version, which is silver instead of Hasbro's kind of grey version, but hell, it's really cool regardless. And really, we're going to actually cut off with Revenge of the Fallen and Dark of the Moon, because I don't have too much to say about some of the figures here, but I will talk about the ones I do own, showing them off and whatnot. Scout class figures, he helped design the Depth Charge, Dirt Boss, and Ejector. Those are the ones I care to talk about. To be honest, you know, Depth Charge is a really cool boy. Dirt Boss is forklift certified and he's green. And our boy Ejector is just a toaster. That is all he is. He's absolute toaster gremlin. Made a shot on him a long time ago and man, he holds up. I mean, I could talk about Ransack for a bit. I'll show him off, but we'll get to reviewing all of these eventually. We'll just a big old streak of movie figures. How about that at some point? Maybe in September. Because I actually have all of my reviews mapped out for August. Voyager class figures from Revenge of the Fallen, because he didn't actually design any deluxe class figures for this storyline, at least that we know of. The Fallen, which I do have, I will show him off briefly, but he's kind of not that good. In fact, he's so not good that he actually broke while I was filming this. As you can see here, you know, this little clip section snapped off, and now he's got a back piece that doesn't hold on. So the Fallen really has fallen. And then Long Haul, which is a truly amazing toy. Very fun. He's not the most poseable thing in the world, but he looks the part in both modes, and I respect that. Now, while I'm not actually going to transform Long Haul and show off the vehicle mode, because I do want to review him eventually and save a couple surprises, I do want to talk about the next figure being Revenge of the Fallen Mixmaster. It is arguably not a terrible toy, but it is maybe by far the worst thing that Eric Siebenaler helped design, purely because the transformation is on the annoying end of complicated. Because complex isn't always bad, but in his case, so, you know. Anyway, enough rambling. We're going to stop before we get to Dark of the Moon and Transformers Prime, purely because I don't own any of the Prime toys to talk about, at least the ones he designed, because it was only first edition stuff. And for Dark of the Moon, I do have one big leader class review that I want to do very soon, okay? Sometime this month, I'll get into it. Maybe right at the end, we'll talk about one of my favorite leader class figures of all time, Dark of the Moon, Sentinel Prime. And the thought I want to leave with this video is, Eric's return is a net positive for the franchise, okay? There is nothing bad that could come as him being part of the Transformers design team, at least within the modern Hasbro architecture. All of the problems with Hasbro are basically corporate, so, you know, lo and behold, one more guy on the Transformers team, a guy who's got a very good track record, could be very much welcome for everyone involved, even us fans, you know, so, hey ho. I wish him the best. I hope everything goes well, and as much as I don't like modern Hasbro, I do hope we continue to get some really cool toys just to keep everyone happy and civil, you know, it's kind of what I like to see. Good vibes everyone, and goodbye.